Will Giratina V-STAR be any good? In today's video, we're going to find out. Roll the intro. What is going on, everybody? Hitmonchan here, back again with another Pokemon trading card game video. Today, we're going to be discussing Giratina V-STAR. Everybody's curious about if this card is going to be the new best deck in format, and in today's video, I'm going to attempt to find out how good Giratina V-STAR is actually going to be. Now, there are a couple cards I want to look at in today's video, but before we look at Giratina V-STAR, we have to take a look at Giratina V. This basic Dragon-type Pokemon has 220 HP with a retreat cost of 2 and no weakness and no resistance. Both of its attacks are actually pretty good, and I'm going to go through them and explain why. For a single colorless energy, Abyss Seek has you look at the top 4 cards of your deck, put 2 of them into your hand and the other 2 into the Lost Zone. This is very good if you have to go second, and on your first turn going second, you have to keep Giratina V in the active. It's a niche scenario, but it's better than not having this option, so it's a pretty good attack for a single energy attachment. And the other attack is actually very good as well. Shred for 160, costs a grass, psychic, and a colorless energy, and the damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So this means it can go through like stall type attacks, or it can go through abilities. It can go through Miltank. It can go through a couple of other Pokemon that kind of have stally traits. So Shred is very good, specifically for dealing with Miltank. You just take a straight one-hit KO, even if it has a Cape of Toughness on it. Miltank is just gone. That's it. Miltank is gone in one hit. So it's very good even for hitting through other Pokemon that have this kind of ability, even if for some reason you have a special energy on the Giratina and you have to hit through like a Duraludon VMAX or something like that. Like, just having an attack that has that capability, and it actually does a good chunk of damage, you can two-shot with it, is pretty good. Now, we're going to take a quick look at Giratina V-STAR. This Pokemon has 280 HP, evolves from Giratina Origin V, and has a retreat cost of 2, also with no weakness or resistance. The first attack, Lost Impact for a grass, psychic, and colorless, does a flat 280, and you put 2 energies attached to any of your Pokemon in the Lost Zone. This is a great attack. A flat 280 knocks out basically any V-STAR without any HP modifications. Slap a Choice Belt, you're knocking out Mew V, which is the only real semi-relevant VMAX at this point. VMAXs aren't really a big thing anymore, so the first attack is really, really good. It's just having to get up to that point that can be a challenge. And then the V-STAR power Star Requiem. You can only use this attack if there are 10 or more cards in your Lost Zone. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now knocked out. Simple as that, easy as that. If your opponent has a wall of some sort, or for some reason it's like a 400 HP Pokemon, you can't knock it out, or whatever reason, it doesn't matter. That Pokemon is just gone. Star Requiem could be really good if you can't get energy and you have all of the cards necessary in the Lost Zone, but otherwise you really don't even have to use the V-STAR power. You can still be hitting 280 damage consistently and easily, thanks to a couple other cards in the set we're gonna go through. The first card I want to go through that's kind of a supporter, well, it literally is a supporter, is Colress's Experiment. The supporter card allows you to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, put 3 of them in your hand, and the remaining cards in the Lost Zone. Now, this is very good in both early game, and pretty much is very good in early game. Late game, it could be okay if you just want to kind of thin out your deck a little bit, but early game, it's good because getting a guaranteed 2 cards in the Lost Zone off of a supporter is good. Combining it with a couple of other cards, you really want to get cards in the Lost Zone early game. So Colress's Experiment is really going to help Giratina V-STAR, especially in its early game scenarios. But the main engine of this deck is going to be Comfey. 70 HP Psychic Pokemon, doesn't seem like much, but its Flower Culling ability is insane. Once during your turn, if it's in the active spot, you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one of them into your hand, and the other in the Lost Zone. Now, this engine kind of operates similar to the Celebrations View engine found in Turbo Dialga, where you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, or top 6, I forget which one it is, and put an item card into your hand. This one just kind of helps you farm cards into the Lost Zone, and if you combine it with Scoop Nets, Air Balloons, Switches, Escape Ropes, and all that jazz, you can consistently be getting cards in a Lost Zone and cards into your hand, which are 2 things that you want to do. They give you more options, and it further pushes you towards those Lost Zone benchmarks that I'm going to talk about. One of those Lost Zone benchmarks is obviously 10 cards in the Lost Zone to use Giratina V-Star's V-Star power. But another one of those benchmarks is 7 cards, and that's so you can utilize this Mirage Gate item. Now, Mirage Gate is actually an insanely broken item. You can only use this card if you have 7 or more cards in your Lost Zone. Search your deck for 2 energies of different types, attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like, and then you shuffle your deck. This card is very, very powerful. If you can somehow get 7 cards in a Lost Zone relatively quickly, you can power up multiple Giratina V/V-Stars. You can power up one Giratina V-Star and discard the energy from it and have it still powered up. The options with this card are limitless. I think this card genuinely might be better than the entire Giratina V-Star deck, because you can use it in other decks like Hisuian Gudra, or you can use it in any decks that have an awkward type of energy combo that have like 2 energy types mainly, and this opens up the door for more types of decks like counterbox decks that rely on multiple energy types. You can, instead of using Arceus, just put it into a Lost Zone engine, and then you can use Mirage Gate to just consistently power up your attackers, and that makes a lot of opportunities for cards that couldn't be good to have a chance to shine. Now, what do I think of Giratina V-Star? I think this card is going to be good because it doesn't really do well against single prizers, right? But in higher level play, you don't really see single prizers a lot. Lost Impact for 280 flat is knocking out any V-Star without any HP mods, and that's good. That's really good. To have a consistent 280 damage is amazing. If you think about the other popular V-Stars at the moment, which are Arceus and Palkia, Palkia needs you to have a bench in order to one-shot you. If you get your Giratina set up and you scoop up your Comfeys, or you put them in the Lost Zone with like a Colress or something, and you don't need them, you don't bench them, Palkia can't one-shot you, and you're going to consistently be knocking out Palkias. So combine it with like Boss's Orders or Cross Switchers or whatever you want, you can consistently pull up whatever you want to knock out and knock it out, with the only requirement being you have some energy on board, which thanks to Mirage Gate, you pretty much always will. Now, I don't know how great the deck is going to be like overall. Do I think it's going to be the best deck in format? I personally don't think so. Like, Star Requiem is a very good V-Star power as well. You can just get an instant knockout, but in my mind, Lost Impact is already knocking everything out, so you could kind of save that V-Star power for something else. I could be wrong. Like, I don't think I'm the smartest player of all time or anything like that. I do think the deck is going to be very, very good, but I'm kind of more hyped for Mirage Gate and the other decks that can be built with it to come out. I saw there was a build, I think, that Andrew Mahone made of Hisuian and Gudra that uses Mirage Gate and another supporter, I think Fantina or something, that lets you take 120 less damage, and it's just a super, super stally deck, and it's so cool, but it's possible because of the Lost Zone engine and Mirage Gate. Now, let's take a look at an example of a Giratina V-Star deck here. This is Mahone's list once again, and I think this is a really, really good way to play Giratina. I personally played like a little bit with it. I played a game or two, just testing it out. I didn't get great hands, but I don't think that's really a good judgment of how this deck operates. And the deck does need, it needs a lot to make it work, but it doesn't take a lot to get there. So you run 4-3 Giratina line, 4 Comfey. This list is playing a 2-1 Bibarel line just in case you get like Roxanne or Margit into a bad hand and you don't really have a supporter or a way out. The 2-1 Bibarel line is very good. And of course Manaphy, so your Comfeys don't get sniped by Radiant Greninja. There are quite a few energy in this deck. There's 6 Psychic and 7 grass energies. 13 energies it's on the heavy side, but you need to be consistently putting your energy in the Lost Zone in order for Giratina V-Star to be effective. And cards in the Lost Zone is good in this deck because you also need Mirage Gate to put them back, or put energies from your deck back onto the board. 4 Colress, 2 Gardenia's Vigor is very good because you can accelerate 2 grass energy, actually powering up a single Giratina in a turn. which is very, very good, as well as 2 bosses orders, and that's it for supporters. It's 4 Colress and then 2 Giratina boss, which is actually very, so like, you can get away with it because there's 3 Pokegears. I think personally that another boss would be really cool, because in case you have to lost someone or discard one, you know, it can knock out and you just go boss, and then that's your game here. Another cool card to add, which, you know, you have to have a balance, right? Because it could be a liability of something like Luminion to guarantee your boss, but the Pokegears will kind of get that job done well enough, considering most of your deck will either be in your hand, in your discard pile, or in the lost zone, because you're drawing through it so quickly. For Pokemon Search, there's only 4 Ultra Ball in this list. There's no Quick Ball, no Level Ball, nothing like that. But there's also 4 Battle VIP Pass to help you get all your Comfeys out on your first turn. I think the Battle VIPs are a great way to play this, because I find that the hardest thing to get this deck going, like the hardest turns you're going to have are your first 2, which are the turns that matter the most. So you really need to ensure your setup is smooth, and Tool Jammer is going to help your Giratina survive a little bit more by blocking out your opponent's Tool Scrapper, or it's going to help it hit, not Tool Scrapper, Choice Belt, or it's going to help you hit a little bit more damage, or take a knockout a bit easier, I should say, by blocking their big charm. And of course, there's just 2 Air Balloon and 2 Switch, so you can switch from your Comfeys, your Giratinas, and move everything around in your deck. I think the deck does run a bit smooth. It does run smoothly. I mean, there's a bit of challenges, right? Because you don't really have a draw engine. Your draw engine is Comfey, but you don't have like a Reading Greninja to actually draw cards. You only have a Bibarel, and the only actual draw supporter you have is 2 Gardenia. So the kind of, you take a big risk when you're playing this deck, because if you dead draw, you're really going to dead draw, and it's really going to be a difficult time to get out of. But I think once this deck gets rolling, if you have a successful first couple turns, you're kind of unstoppable, because you limit your bench, nothing can really one-shot your Giratina, and Giratina is guaranteed going to one-shot things, whether it be through its attack or through its V-Star power. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you think of the Giratina V-Star card? What do you think of all the Lost Zone cards? What do you think of this list? This isn't my list, this is Mahon's list. I'm going to come up with a Giratina V-Star list eventually. I'm just trying to kind of figure out a better way to play it than this, because I don't know if there is one. But I want to know what everybody thinks of Giratina V-Star, and just like that, that is the end of the video. So the answer to the question, do I think Giratina V-Star is going to be good? I absolutely do. I think if you want to play this card, absolutely go for it, because it has a lot of support, and it's has a lot of potential as well. Because who knows, maybe something like Turbo Giratina will be something in the future, kind of like how Turbo Dialga turned out. But I genuinely think that this deck is going to be very, very good. Best deck in format? Maybe yes, maybe no, we'll have to see. But I think this deck is absolutely worth trying, even online. It's worth playing, and it's worth giving a shot and investing in, is what I'm trying to say. So without further ado, thank everybody. Thank you all for watching. I thank everybody for watching. Haven't done a video quite like this, so I hope it turns out well. I hope it goes over well with everybody. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you want more kinds of videos like this. I plan to do one on Hisuian Zoroark V-Star and Hisuian Goodra V-Star as well before I make lists about them, because I think it's a cool way to kind of describe a list and kind of get ideas out there and get people thinking before I just make a list and say, here, this is what I came up with, then what do you think? You know, so I think that's really, really fun. And then comment down below your thoughts on Giratina V-Star, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. I have a lot of Pokemon trading card game content coming out, deck techs, gameplay, card analysis, everything in between. I'm working really hard to bring the best content to you. So with all that said and done, until next time, Hitmonchan out.